Continuing on with the racks grind, I was getting better and better at it, and eventually was starting to see how far I could push my enrage. Since the enrage at racks caps out at 300% and only resets once a day, being able to do 300% enrage kills is very beneficial for allowing me to do as many kills in a day as I'd like. And after a little while, I ended up getting my first 300% kill. This really should help speed up the racks grind. I even got a couple more drops in the process with another leg piece and, unfortunately, a second web. Around this time, the Rex Matriarchs bosses had recently come out and I decided to give them a go. These are really low to mid-tier bosses, so I wasn't too worried about trying them on the hardcore after looking up how to do them. I started off by trying out Rathus and ended up getting a Heart of the Archer within only a few kills. Since after that there wasn't much reason to keep doing Rathus, I moved on to Thenraken. Out of each of these bosses, I'd say this one is the toughest, but it's also the most fun in my opinion. There's just a couple really simple mechanics that are pretty fun to engage with. Wearing insulated boots really helps reduce the damage from the lightning if you're having trouble with it. Also, make sure not to stand too close to the beam when it spawns because it can kill you very quickly, as I almost learned for myself here. Okay. Please. I almost died there, that was so dumb of me. Whoops. Going forward, I really wanted to keep working on my racks gear, and one of the next things I wanted to unlock was the Amulet of Souls. This is a really powerful amulet that you can make from a Hydrix gem. It makes your Soul Split prayer heal for more, and also makes your protection prayers block 60% damage instead of 50%. You need 99 crafting to make it though, so I was gonna need to get to at least level 93 so I could boost for it. I ended up using the large amount of penguin points that I'd been saving up to get myself nearly 93 crafting. And after a bit more work crafting, I was able to make an Amulet of Souls and also decided to make myself a Death Touch bracelet, which is a decent hybrid glove slot piece of equipment that will definitely be better than the black dragonhide gloves that I have now. After a bit more work on my player-owned farm, I finally had all the ingredients to make extreme invention potions. These are super handy for making your invention perks, but they also have another benefit of letting you unlock blueprints early for extra XP. I'd very much recommend doing this because many of the blueprints give quite a lot of XP, and it can even net you a handful of levels for free. I ended up getting some completely absurd luck during a Vindicta Reaper, and ended up getting 3 lances in the span of 16 kills. We got another lance! Wowee! I've only done it like a handful of times. Back to back? No way. Needless to say, a lot of people were happy for me, but also hating me at the same time. These lances are going to be very handy when going for best in slot perks once we unlock Ancient Invention. Next up, I went and completed the Fate of the Gods quest. This is a pretty long quest that also has a few battles that you need to complete. Near the beginning, when running through Frenesque, be mindful of how much damage you're taking, and remember that you can get free heals while under these lights. Soon afterwards, you'll need to battle some Nihils. These enemies can be a bit tough, and they have some special attacks that they can use. I'd recommend only aggroing one at a time to make the fights a lot easier. Finally, near the end of the quest, you'll need to fight off waves of Muspa while the Elder God Ma has a nightmare. During some dialogue options, you can choose to accept Zeros' aid, which will provide you with unlimited prayer and you'll take less damage from Ma. Make sure to use Anticipate and Freedom throughout the encounter so you don't get caught in a stun whenever Ma screams.
You win!
Not too long after this, the quest will be complete, awarding you with a huge amount of XP. You also get the Shard of Zeros, which provides protection from all factions in God War's dungeon. You can also now get Nihils assigned as Slayer monsters, which can drop items to make a Nihil summoning pouches. You're also given the Measure, which can be placed down in the world in a handful of places, awarding you with a bunch of Divination XP. I decided to take the time and go and get our Mage Kiln Cape, using our recently made Noxious Staff, and now we've got our entire Kiln Cape set. Alright, hurry up and die, please. There we go. Yes. Kiln Cape, woo! There we go, we got our new fancy magic cave. Now we got all of them. Woohoo! I I'd been working on doing some clue scrolls and needed to get access to the Piscatorus fishing colony, so I went and completed the Swan Song quest. This is a relatively simple quest about helping a fishing colony defend against sea trolls. There's a small boss fight at the end, but it's not very difficult. And once completed, we get a bit of XP and access to the fishing colony. Then, one day after being good about doing my Guthix caches each day, I finally reached 99 divination. Now I can relax and never think about doing caches again. Speaking of divination, it was around this time when the Divination Quality of Life update was released. The new update makes it so more people participating in collecting energies, the more everyone benefits. With enough people, you end up with an enriched wisp basically constantly, essentially doubling how fast you can gain energies. Because of this, when you're gathering incandescent energy, make sure to do it on World 79 to take advantage of the permanent enriched wisp. Throughout all of this, I'd been continuing to do my rack skills each day and had gathered a lot more drops, including a whole bunch more leg pieces. Okay, sure. What are we gonna do with all these legs, man? The defense pet, and even 2 more webs. It's a little bit unfortunate to see that we have 4 webs now and still no Fang, but hopefully we can find one soon. I wanted to try out doing some necks because I knew we were going to need to do a lot of her in the future, and I'd never really done much of it before. I wasn't very used to kiting bosses or activating all my abilities manually, so it was a pretty long and rough kill. This was definitely something I was going to need more practice on before I start doing it regularly. In the meantime, I ended up doing some duos with a friend, and they went much smoother. We didn't end up getting any drops, but it was still a lot of fun. Right, okay. That wasn't nearly as bad in duo. Just a bit rough, but like, that wasn't horrible actually. In between all the bossing, I worked on a bit more questing, starting with a really simple one, Meeting History, which awards a bit of XP and some kudos at the Varrock Museum. Next I went to complete the Light Within, which is the follow-up quest to Plague's End. This is a pretty long quest where you go around the world gathering things to help restore Saren. Most of it's not very difficult and pretty straightforward. There's a part where you need to collect Tardian crystals by either battling some crystal shapeshifter enemies or by doing some skilling. Killing the shapeshifters is faster, but if you don't want to fight anything, you don't have to. Once the quest is complete, we get a whole bunch of XP and also gain access to the Saren spells and prayers. Following that quest, next up was Children of Ma. This is another very long quest that is also relatively dangerous. Near the end of the quest, you'll have to do this lava surfing minigame. You just use the arrows to move onto one of the 3 paths and try to avoid obstacles. Be careful when doing this because hitting enough obstacles can kill you. If you're worried about this, it can be handy to use an enhanced Excalibur before starting the minigame. In between each minigame, you'll need to battle some Muspahs until a big one spawns. You'll then want to go to the destroyable wall and bait its special attack to destroy the wall. At the end, you'll need to do this light minigame. You just need to place the light orb onto the pedestal that the shadows are creeping towards to stop them. This can get a bit tough, but if you fail it a few times, the game will allow you to redo it in an easy mode. And once the quest is complete, we gain a whole ton of XP and also access to the Nightmare Slayer creatures. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I'd also love it for you to come hang out with us on Twitch sometime, under the same name as my YouTube channel, BreaCheese. A link to my stream will be down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.